I tried to write a review for this movie like I did with my other movies, and I couldn't do it. This film was so bad, I couldn't get past 30 minutes of it, so what I did instead was review a film more worth my time. La Bamba was released in 1987, and it starred Lou Diamond Phillips as Ritchie Valens. Compared to the Buddy Holly story, released 9 years earlier, the family were heavily involved in filming. When La Bamba was released in 1987, it was met with worldwide acclaim, won a Golden Globe, and recently the film was inducted into the Library of Congress. So instead of reviewing the travesty of Cats, let's review a more acclaimed film, Screw the Cats movie. Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. Richard Valenzuela is a 16-year-old guitar lord who has a fear of airplanes. He stays in Northern California where he and his mother work at a peach farm to make ends meet. They get a visit from Bob, who I didn't know this until I wrote this review, was released from jail. Bob tells his family that he is now doing good and wants to move the family out of the peach farm. But before they move out, Bob wastes little time taking the virginity away from Rosie. She decided to go as well, but this ends up having consequences for her. 3 months later, she becomes a housewife even though they aren't married, and Bob is in and out the house as he has a serious alcohol problem.
He doesn't spend much time at home, does he? You do.
At school, Ritchie meets a new student named Donna, and while that'll be important later on, he prepares for his audition for the Silhouettes, and of course he aces it. He wishes things go better for him at home. At home, Bob abuses Rosie, and then she tells him that she's pregnant. But Bob ain't trying to commit and flees. Ritchie invites Donna to his garage party, but her father isn't too enthused about him and forbids her to attend. The garage party is here, and the leader of the band takes full control of the party, not allowing Ritchie to sing, ruining his night. Ritchie does get his revenge performing solo with Bob on drums, and after the night, Connie tells Ritchie that he needs exposure, so she wants to book a major venue for him and his band, and all it cost her was this month's rent.
We gotta pack the place, Mom.
I hope so. We paid for this place with our rent money.
But the Silhouettes leader isn't on board with Ritchie calling the shots. However, the rest of the band is on board, and he goes off into obscurity, never to be seen again. Bob then tells Connie that he could make better signs.
Should have kept my mouth shut.
Night of the show, Ritchie is performing up to his standards and then some, but guess who comes and ruins the day? Bob's inebriation leads to a brawl. Ritchie comes in and sees Bob get clocked in the face, and Ritchie comes in and throws a haymaker. I like this scene for Ritchie. Regardless of his brother being a screw-up, he's always there for him. This brawl ends up causing the family a lot since they have to pay for damages, and they all blame Bob for ruining Ritchie's night. But something good came out of this. At the show, a record executive named Bob Keane, played by that guy who died on Bad Boys 3, was present and wants to record Ritchie. Ritchie agrees once he gets his band. However, Bob tells Ritchie he can't use any of them, and Ritchie gets an important lesson. While Ritchie is loyal to his friends, an opportunity like this don't come often, so Ritchie stays and records with Bob. Meanwhile, his brother Bob discovers his gift for drawing cartoons and enters an art contest. Remember in the beginning of the movie where I said Ritchie was a guitar lord who was afraid of airplanes? We finally get an explanation on why he has aerophobia. Back in 1957, there was a mid-air collision in Pacoima, California, and one of the burning aircrafts crushed and killed one of his best friends. Miraculously, one of the pilots survived the ordeal. Ritchie wasn't present at school as he was attending his grandfather's funeral, and at this moment, changed his life forever. Connie tells Ritchie that Bob wants to officially sign him to Delphi Records. His brother Bob also has good news that he won the art contest, but instead of getting a cash prize, he gets art lessons. While recording Come On Let's Go, Ritchie gets another lesson in recording that it's a long process.
Look, how many more takes?
As many as it takes.
After the session, Bob Keane gives Ritchie his stage name, now being known as Ritchie Valens. Ritchie dislikes it as he finds it disrespectful to his last name, Valenzuela. Ritchie is now having relationship drama with Donna. He's having a hard time reaching her as her dad lies and tells Ritchie that Donna is occupied. Tired of calling?
No, Donna's not here.
Thank you.
She's out on a date.
Yeah. Right.
Calling, Ritchie decides to go to her and confronts her to her face to face. She reveals that she cheated on him since he no longer has time for her. The two end up splitting up, but Ritchie deep down inside still has feelings for Donna, so he writes a song for her. Bob catches wind of this and takes Ritchie to a brothel in Tijuana, but Ritchie gets distracted by the house band playing La Bamba, who it turns out to be Los Lobos, who provides the singing voice for actor Lou Diamond Phillips.
Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia.
But Bob achieves this goal in getting Ritchie laid. They end up waking up in a small village. There, while eating snake, an old man gives Ritchie a good luck charm to help out with his areophobia. Back at home, Rosie water breaks and Connie takes her to the hospital. Once home, she scolds them both for not being there.
I could expect this from Bob, but not you, Ritchie.
Ritchie then pitches his idea to record La Bamba as his B-side to Donna, but Keen isn't keen on the idea for obvious reasons, but gives Ritchie the green light. The family then celebrates Ritchie's new fortune, and we get an appearance from the actual Connie Valenzuela, who died 3 months after this film was released. Ritchie makes his television debut on American Bandstand, but back at home, Bob reaches new lows. He is barred from seeing his daughter due to his inebriation, and is barred from watching his brother at a TV bar. And what makes things worse, Ritchie then gets his mother a house as he promised, and Bob feels resentful as his mother.
Ritchie, you're the best.
In New York, Ritchie gets to perform with Eddie Cochran and Jackie Wilson, and I must say I like the updated version of these songs. Once home, the family have a Christmas party and things go to a head but with Bob and Ritchie. Bob expresses his envy towards Ritchie, but he claps back saying he has no right to be jealous as all of his transgressions fell on him and him alone. Two would end up getting into a fight, which leaves Bob breaking Ritchie's good luck charm. While preparing for the Winter Party dance tour of 1959, he confesses his love for Donna. He tells her that he plans on marrying her when he turns 25, when his career and life settles. But once there, the tour ends up being a disaster. The bus breaks down and Ritchie catches a cold. He decides to call Bob to reconcile and invites him to Chicago as he feels lonely on the road. Despite their earlier fight, Ritchie deep down still loves his brother, and Bob deep down still loves Ritchie. At the airport, Buddy Holly tells Ritchie he and drummer Tommy Allsup, whoever wins the coin toss will get the final seat on the plane, and loser will have to ride the bus. Holly flipped the coin and Ritchie won the toss, even though it didn't occur at the airport nor Holly tossed it. The next day, while listening to the radio, Bob is fixing Connie's car, and we are informed that Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Popper were killed in a plane crash. There's a lot that saddens me on this scene. One, if this was true, I didn't like the fact radio had to inform the families of Ritchie's death. Regardless of location, the family has to be informed first before breaking into the press. 2, 8 years after Ritchie's death, Connie Valenzuela moved her family out of the home Ritchie gave her as she could not bear the memory of staying there. The film closes with Bob screeching out Ritchie. A sad ending indeed, because 17 is entirely too young to go out. This film was very important to me growing up. Everything about this film is fantastic, the music was performed well, and again shout out to Los Lobos for providing the vocals for Lou Diamond Phillips and riding La Bamba to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. So if you haven't seen this film, I definitely recommend watching it. It's better than Cats. Anything is better than Cats. And that concludes this review. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.